Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Good to see you, Froja, Stony, Rick, Misayu as well, Priyanshu. Yeah, Steve, what's up, man? This is gonna be good. Master selections and masks, probably the most important thing you could do in good old Photoshop, right? Thank you, Michelle. You are the best. I got audio confirmation that audio and video are good, which is great. So, yeah, we're gonna just kind of like jump in, right? If we could, right? And we'll work on some selections and masks. Sort of how to do the best way to do selections. Ultimately, you want to select something and like remove a background, things like that. I have a bunch of files that I'm going to deal with, and this is going to be good. Look at this. There's a big mess of things in here. Holy moly. All right. Yeah. Ben, I don't know if anybody does. It's a Rode Procaster. So, but I'm glad you like it. You know, big thing is audio is probably more important than video because maybe you're not always watching a live stream, but if you have it on, you're typically listening to it. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Let's start with, let's do this. Let's start with this image right here. Option, click on that eyeball, make everything go away. This is the image that I want to cut out. This is actually pretty easy, right? And ultimately, I want to cut out this image. So let's do this really fast. I'm going to show you, like, this will be like really large, let's say, for instance, and half of it might be off of the outside of the document bounds, if you will, because it's actually this size. But ultimately, you want to remove it. I know some people that will use the selection tools. So you'll maybe use an object selection tool, right? Or you'll just go up here and you'll do a select subject, right? Some people will do that, right? And then they might, add a mask. And this is how you do it. You can select subject and then mask out. Boom, that's easy. But I encourage everybody to do this. This is typically how I'd start out. Properties panel. Right here, remove background. That's what I'd use 90% of the time. So remove background, no hands mode. It removes the background. The cool thing is, if I move this up, look, it masks out everything even off of the pasteboard, which is nice. Because if I did this myself, if I moved this down, I would have this white edge or an edge of the sky that I did not select. So anyways, that's typically what I do. Is I come in, hey, this wonderful image as well. Again, remove background. It does its thing. So I don't know. Life doesn't have to be hard, does it? Let's go to this one. Again, remove background. You get the idea, right? This is what I do most of the time. Okay. Sometimes when you have images, you ready for this? What are you guys talking about? Chocolate, butter, flour? What are you talking about? Making stuff? Pen tool for the win, Mayor, if you want to do that. For certainly. Yeah, you sure can. For this one, you might think, let me think about this. Let's just say I want to remove, and let's put something in the background. I want to remove this, the background here, right? And place it in this scene. I don't always have to make a selection and make a mask, right? What you could do, let's just try this. I'm just kind of rolling through some of this. You could also use blend modes, basically. That will get you part of the way there. Here we go. We have basically these top ones. So I'll keep the darker pixels, remove the lighter pixels. That's what blend modes do. But let's take a look at this. Let's go into this a little more depth. I'm going to double click on this layer. And we're going to get right into some advanced stuff, shall we? Hello, Tim from Northern Michigan. You are way far north. What's the weather like there? So check this out. This is where we could talk about sort of blending, blend if gray for this layer. So we can blend this layer based on the white, right? So that's all we have to do. It's like, I want to remove white. Just take this down, boop, just like so. And we've removed the white. You might get a little bit of residual pixels right in there. Again, you can kind of control that. If you're going to get a hard edge, we can fix that hard edge, right? So, but that's what it does. Like, hey, you know what? Just to get rid of those pixels, and it didn't even require me to have a mask, which is awesome. So from here, I could actually split this up too, right? So we could ease that transition by holding down the Option key and clicking. And we've split this in half. So now we can ease that transition. Watch it off to the side. We're like easing that transition, like so. Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of how blend if works. Another way to kind of show it off, if I could, let's zoom out. Let's make this nice and big. I just want to have a nice image in the background. It's just another way to think about it. Let's just throw a gradient right in here and then work with it this way. So here we have, again, blend if. Again, we're taking away the white. That's what it's doing, so removing the white. And then we could also remove the black if we want to. And still we can split this as well. Split that by Option clicking. And now I'm easing that transition. See that? Move that out of the way. I'm easing that transition from dark to light. And you get the idea. It's 256 levels to this. There you go. Oh, I'm glad you like my sound effects. So that's what that looks like. Click OK. Let's delete that layer mask. We don't need it. But this is what my layer ends up looking like right here. So this is we actually have a blend if going on right here, and eases that transition. All right. So easy enough. That's pretty awesome. Let's just say I have this heart, for instance. This happens to be, I just want to talk about everything. Is that okay? I'm just in no particular order. We'll hopefully make something cool. But I'm showing you all the latest, coolest things. And the things that really I'm showing you advanced stuff, you know? Let's do this really fast. Let's take this lady. Let's make something cool. And I'm sorry, I have so much going on in here. Let's clean up this file. All right, here's our lovely lady. We have a couple different poses for her, right? And I want to do a cool like layering effect, right? To where maybe only part of her face is showing, which is cool. So I could use selection tools. We know we can select, you know, on this layer and then add a layer mask. And that's what I've essentially done. It's like, okay, that looks fine, right? I might want to add a heart or some other shape. So again, this is typically what people will do is they'll, you know, maybe they'll have a selection of a shape and then they'll mask it, or they'll have a different shape, by the way. So let's do this. Let's open up our shapes. Here we go. So one thing I could do is actually have a bunch of stripes. That might be kind of neat if I want to just reveal part of her face. Boom. You know, and then I'll make another line and then I'll fill it with white. Right? That's what I'm doing right now. Right, that's one thing I can do. It's just making these nice strips because I think it's going to make this cool effect. But really, what might be easier is to use maybe this pattern that I have, this diagonal pattern, right? Here we have this nice diagonal pattern that I want to put her face in, right? So in order to do that, she's going to be on top, and we'll add a clipping mask. We can right-click, create clipping mask. Boom. Here's our sort of second type of mask. And we can see, sure enough, her face is inside of those lines. Okay? So we did a regular pixel-based mask. Here's a clipping mask. You're clipping one layer with another. And this works great for if you're doing, filling a photo, filling type with a photo. Yeah, you ready for this? This is the problem with this Cody and Michelle and all this stuff. Is like, I still have this white, this ugly white showing. It's like, okay, how do we get rid of this white, which is this color, that white right there? It's actually this. How do we get rid of this content and just keep this content? But I want this to be vector. That's the thing. Key thing is I want a vector mask, but I don't actually want to show the vector fill color, right? Let me see if I could drop this down. What's going to happen? So if I drop the fill, that's not going to work. No. This is what I would do. Okay, you ready for this? Again, you'll hopefully use this someday and be happy that you did. I've already made a couple of these. But let me clean this up a little bit. Boom. Oh, I hate the size of my canvas right now. So ridiculous. So sorry. Just can't stand it. There we go. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to get this all squared away. I want to make something look pretty, okay? So that means like doing all this alignment stuff. Yeah, let's align that stuff. There we go. Move this into place. Okay, thank you. Ba, zoop. There we are. Now this is much easier to see. Clipping mask, boom. I still have that ugly white, which I want to get rid of. I would make this a path right up here. Since I have that vector layer selected, I have this path right here, and I want to just save this new path, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm just calling it path 1. Actually, make sure it's selected for 1. So use your path selection or your direct selection tool. But you need to make sure that's selected, and then you do a saved path. And this is full, diagonal lines. There we are. Now we have our diagonal lines, right? And then all you need to do is go to that layer, get rid of, go to whatever layer you want, and now we have this vector path that we can then go down to layer and then vector mask. So this is the third type of mask that I wanted to show you guys. Use that current path, boom, right? And now it masks out those portions of the layer, and it doesn't show the white like it was doing before, and it's still vector, right? So I can come in and adjust this all I want. Maybe I want more of this. It technically was a live shape at one point, but now I'm actually just adjusting these vector paths, and in turn makes this nice little mask. And does this hurt your brain? Is this hurting your brain? All right. Again, we're just having fun and making cool art. So yeah, this is pretty important, I think. I don't see vector paths being used a lot, or vector masks, right? But again, that's kind of how that's done. And then we can say, hey, we want to try this other image right in here. Here's this other image. Let's flip horizontal. We could have a clipping mask. You ready? Let's make things complex. Let's add a regular pixel-based mask. So layer mask in here, and then fade that out like so. So look at how complex I'm making this now. Let's crank up the flow. There we go. just to fade that out. Heck, let's do it even on this layer. Pixel-based mask. Vector-based mask, pixel-based mask to just blur out these hard edges right over here, right? So, and then this one on top of that also has its mask. And now I'm trying to show you how complex everything can be. Anyways, so I'm trying to make a mess, and I made a mess. So, all right, sweet. Does that make sense? You could use vector shapes as masks. They can be vector masks. You could manipulate them and all that fun stuff. But I think this one looks the coolest, right? So we have one piece of art that kind of messes with our head, which is fully editable and changeable and all that stuff. So you get it. Let's move on back to this one, for instance. So we'll work on another composition. Hey, why not? Okay. This situation, right? Within the context of this, I want to first off remove this whale. We'll still do remove background. Boom. Right? It makes that selection, makes that mask, and we're good to go. Okay. I'm thinking about putting this whale in the background amongst those trees. Okay. So let's talk about some of the ways you would do this. Oh, good. Thank you, Ben. Achieved. Vector masks actually make sense. Perfect. Yes. Awesome. When you need those crisp lines, you have it. You got it now. Okay. So I'll just have this, and I'll just have this be the trees. We'll duplicate that layer. We'll put it on top, right? And in order to mask out the trees, what are the ways you guys would do it? I kind of wonder. It's like you might use color. So you'll go up to select. You might try color range. And using color range, we can jump in here and go ahead and click and make sure we grab that white and hold down the plus sign and grab more and more of those pixels. We can toggle that just by the command key. We can actually see it here, right? And we can actually sample in this one in this little window if I want to. Okay, so we're grabbing more pixels, holding down the shift key to add, the option key to subtract, and then once you think you have it done, you'll click OK. And you can increase the fuzziness. We'll make that a mask. Boom. There's that. All right, we'll invert it really fast. That's one way of doing things. I still kind of get these hard edges. I just want to kind of do this 3 different ways. Okay? Thank you. Ooh, Marsha is on point. Using channels. So that's another thing we could try. Let's just delete that layer mask. We'll go to this one where we're going to be using channels. We'll go to channels. We could hold down the command key and click on, say, green, for instance. Let's deselect it. But here's green, red, blue, and if we command click, we're selecting all the green. So that might be one way of doing things. Let's see what that looks like. Mask it out. Boom. Right? So let's invert this, Command I. So this is from that green channel, right? And let me make this much larger too. There we go. So this might work out pretty well because now I can take that and I can use adjustment layers. So I can do a Command L for levels, and I can reveal or hide based on me manipulating the levels of this particular layer, which is kind of cool, right? So I'm just kind of revealing and showing more of that whale as I adjust accordingly. Zoop, zoop, zoop. So that's way number 2. That seems to work out pretty well. Haha. I'm gonna do it a third way now. Okay. Because we learned this just a second ago. Because we really want to remove the content based on the brightness. So we're like, hey, can you use blend if here as well? So the third way, double click right in here, blend if, because we just want the bright spots, right? And just like so, we could remove, again, dragging that down just like we did before. It reveals more of this whale. And then we can split it by holding the Option key and clicking. And now we're getting those smooth transitions from lighter to darker. Okay. So I don't know. I feel like this does a really good job. I'm kind of into the control I have with this blend if, right? Just like that. All right, I kind of like that control. There we have it. So 3 different ways. This one was done with the selecting the color. This one is doing it based on channels. Where I selected the green, and this is the blend if. Boom, boom, boom. All right, I take this guy. He needs to be brighter and all sorts of things. So I would probably actually I would do this easy. I would just like drag down the opacity. And now it looks like it works a little bit better. Kind of hanging out back there, rolling on by. Okay, so love me a blend if. That's right. It does it to the whole layer, obviously. So from that respect, you don't have that much control. But you do have a lot of control with if you're dealing with lights and darks. Jossie, am I saying your name correctly? What about using the depth blur map generated by the new AI tools and using that as a layer mask? I have not. I'm gonna try that. Because I haven't used it before. Man, Jay. So let's... Are you saying it's a neural... Wait, where is it? Where is the depth blur map generated by the new AI tools? Do you mean, is it under the neural filters? Is my question. Yeah, depth blur. I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to take a look at that. No, but this is fancy. I'm not sure if that's what you mean, but anyway. Yeah, that's something to think about. Let's talk about depth anyways, since we're on that subject. We'll go back right over here, right? So we did this. Everything's looking good. What's going on with some of this other stuff? Oh, here's a situation. We could grab any sort of situation like this, right? And another way to think about this is like, okay, I could use select subject. I could also use right up here, select. We already talked about color range. We could do focus area right in here. Okay, Jossie, neural filters. Okay, cool. I have not used that one, but that might work. I'm into it. It can generate a depth map. Ah, love it, Josie. Ah, love it. Love it. I'm all about it. Focus area. This is no hands mode. Right? It goes through and it selects based on the focus area, right? It does an auto currently. It's grabbing this little guy over here, right? And I could say, hey, you know what? Maybe we take that down so it's less in range and it'll start to remove some of that. Or another way of doing that, because we can go into some of the advanced properties and play with the noise level. But probably what I would do is I would launch right into select and mask and make this a new layer with a layer mask or something. But boom, there we are. Shabam. Shaboom. Get rid of you, buddy. There we go. Click OK. We're done. All right. Rick Adams is on board as well. Oh, now I want to try it. Oh, wrong one. Filter, neural filters. Depth map. Is it the depth blur? The depth blur makes outputs a depth map. Output, oh, here we right down here. Output depth map only. Okay, let's do that. Change that to high. We'll wait for this to load up, and then we'll just go ahead and hit OK as soon as we have a chance. Try it. There's our lovely depth map. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. So much you could do with this. I did not know there's little buttons in here, and I think it's awesome. I'd love the idea of like distorting some text in this depth map now. Right, there we are. There's the depth map. Now what we can do is we can... I want to get this content copy. Let's go over here. Paste. No. Yeah, we could use curves too. I want to learn how to... I want to get this, all of this gray info right in here. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to paste it in. And I don't know if there's a shortcut to doing that. I'm trying just a couple things. Copy. There is a way. I don't know. I feel like Photoshop's so smart that it's okay, you have to select the black. Yeah, I was trying to get away from selecting the black. Select from the channel. Okay, we could do that. Let me make sure I'm on the right layer. Okay. Boom. Let's throw color back there really fast. All right, so that's what's happening there. There's based on the depth map. We have that this mask. So we'll go ahead and do this little layer sandwich and turn on the background one. Cool. All right. Well, I learned something today using that depth map. And yeah, let's continue. Sweet. All right. I think we pretty much did it. Awesome. Did we do it? I think we did. All right, there we have it. What else do you guys want to know about selecting, right? I'm trying to pick situations that might be kind of tough. And I'm checking the time. All right, sweet. For blend diff as well, one thing I did not show you, and since let's continue down this path, we'll, you know, put something behind this. We'll just throw a color back here behind that. Now, this time we'll do a blend diff. We've been using grays, but you can actually do it based on color. So we can go to blue with this one on this layer, right? And you can see what's happening is it's grabbing. We'll take this, if we wanted to remove the sky, for instance, I should be able to drag it this way. And still, this is kind of the issue that you have with blend diff, is because it does affect the whole layer. But now, based on the blue in this layer, we could split it and take the light, clear down into the darker blues like so, right? And that's what it's doing. It's actually just removing the sky. Ultimately, we'll click OK, right? We'll have a... okay, so check this out. I'm really fast. This is also huge. I want to create that background layer, so I want to remove these settings, right? So if you're messing with blend if and you're changing the green to blah, 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 you're doing all this stuff, right? You want to reset it all back to the way it was. Hold down your option key, and if you're in any dialogue, any modal dialogue where you have the cancel, hold down option. That's going to change that to reset, because that's what I want to do with all this stuff. Just go ahead and reset it. Boom. Looks like I do have to go back into the blue too. But that, see how that's toggling reset? How come that is not working? Huh. Well, geez, Photoshop just made a fool of me. Anyway. Okay, there we have it. Where is our, let's do like this. Let's get this lady in here. Oh yeah. Right, you get the idea. Showing off blend diff. All right. So yeah, use that. If you ever want to reset any dialogue, hold down the Option key and that will change to reset. Changing this over, taking a look. Oh shoot. Give me 1 second. Yes, I want to welcome everybody joining me from YouTube and elsewhere. It's good to have you here. I'm covering selections and masks. Actually, I've been talking a lot about masks, so we can get into selections as well. So yeah, we can kind of shift gears and jump into selections, okay? Because that's going to be huge. So we get into sort of focusing on some small parts of a layer. So just like I have in here, I might have something like this. Here we go. This is lovely flowers that I want to put in here, right? So this is a situation where like, yeah, I could use blend diff to knock out the white. What's actually going to be tricky about this is these darn white flowers, right? That's going to be the hard part. And let's just shrink this down, right? Just to show you. There we go. This lovely range of colors, right? Typically what I would do in here is you can go to select, go into color range like we did before, click. The problem with this, of course, is that it grabs everything on every layer, and I hate that, to be honest with you. But right in here, you can see it actually is grabbing some of these white flowers, some stuff that we want, some things that we don't, but it does a pretty good job for the most part. So take that down and we'll say, hey, you know what? Good job. You got me 80% of the way there, right? And we can hold down the Option key, click to make that mask, and there we have like most things, but not everything. So we can Command click. There's a couple different ways I would do this. Right, but basically these white flowers that I need to worry about. So what you could always do is you could always just focus on those individuals. And use the object selection tool. Here with the object selection tool, we can change this to rectangle or lasso, right? I usually have it set to lasso because that enables me to kind of really get in to this flower like so, and then it obviously snaps to it. So that's how I'd start to grab each one of these. In fact, let's try this. Let's go to rectangle, and I'll just drag this over, and yeah, you can see what it's doing there. It doesn't do as good of a job if you're trying to grab everything at once. It does a better job if you just select them one by one like I was doing down here. Cool. Snap. Oops. Lasso. Questions, concerns, irrational fears, anyone? Boom, there we have that. Let's make that a mask. Boom. There they are. Alrighty. All right, just checking in on chat. Yeah, Lamia, hello Andrew, hello Katri, hello Dan, Dan the man. So yeah, now we have all those flowers cut out, including the white ones, and we can just be well on our way. Okay. Works out just fine. In fact, here's, yeah, I could always add this to it. Let's fill with white. Boom, there it is. Flowers, done. Again, trying to take more complex examples. This one, again, if it's on white, what would you do? Yeah, I would still use blend if here. Boom. Split it, have a little bit of, try to get rid of that edge. But look what I just did there. Look at how fast that was. Literally using blend if, you know, and the reason I would is, you know, is because it's so easy. So there, it's done. Boom. Lovely flowers that we'll put somewhere. Is there any scripting book for Photoshop, Illustrator, and After Effects? I do not know. There might be separate ones for each. So yeah. All right, we could select based on color range. We've done that up here. And then what you could even do, and let's jump over to a different image. Maybe something that's more complex. Using like sky replacement. Because I'm thinking right in here, it's like, yeah, I could select the blues. I could try to cut out the top part. But you know what? Let's just see what Photoshop does and use sky replacement as our selection tool. So in there, selects the sky. Sky doesn't matter. I'm just clicking OK. What I get is I get all these layers, right? And then using this information, right? So using these. So I could take this right over here, Option key, drag it down, and now that's part of this layer. So turn that off. Let's invert it. And that's how I'd use sky replacement as just a selection mode, which I thought was good. Right? So there that is. Boom, boom, ta-ta. Go in here. Grab another cool statue to put back there. Again, probably my typical go-to is just coming in here and doing a remove background. There she is. Back there. All right. Okay. Let me get comfortable. All right. I still have 20 minutes. Okay. Another thing people do, and let me find a good image that, that I might want to, like some people use the pen tool a lot. So let's just, I don't know, we'll just take this image, right? First of all, actually what I would do is, again, just do a remove background. Why are you making it hard on yourself? Just do that. So easy, right? Double click and you can enter into mask mode and you can start to remove these little spots like so. Boom, boom, right? So that's all I'm doing right in here. Subtract, click and drag. I'm actually using my selection tool, getting rid of those parts. As you can see, it's just pretty easy. That's all. So to the brush, removing that part. Decontaminate colors is going to get rid of the edges, the green, right? Around the edges, and then we'll output it with a new layer with layer mask. You could always shift the edge and stuff too, but done and done. Right, but let me go back to like the pen tool. So if you did want to use the pen tool, again, I would do exactly what I did. Yeah, you could use the pen tool and come through if you want to be a purist. And sometimes you do. You need that sharp line, right? So again, it's the same process. What I'm doing currently is I'm actually drawing onto a shape layer. So right up here, it says that this is a shape and it has a fill already set to it, which that fill might get in the way because I'm like, oh, I can't. In some cases, you're not really going to be able to see parts of the image. Like, how good of a job are you doing? Especially when it gets kind of wonky like that, right? You can turn off the fill entirely, like so. You can drop the fill percentage down to 0. You could just change it to the stroke, so just a white stroke is appearing. And what you can also do is you can change this entirely. So let's just turn that off. Let's go to my pen tool, and don't make it at a shape at all, but you could actually just draw with a path. So boom, we're drawing with a path. As I click, right, I don't have, it didn't make a separate layer over here. I don't even need this one. I am basically making this work path like so, okay? So anyways, I'll just, and I would work this way too. I used to use a shape layer, and then I got this extra math and content to deal with, which I just don't need anymore. So that is done. Go to your layer like we did before, and then we'll just make that a vector mask from the current path. Bingo. There it is. Right? Easy enough. All right. Yeah, Mayor, you might be right. Like, remove background doesn't make a very clean selection. It varies per image. Excuse me. Yeah, exactly, Mayor. Like, a lot of the images that you work with don't have a plain background. Let's try something even harder. Let's take this. Let's grab a snail. Do I have a snail? Snail. Or something. Maybe a snake. Let's look for a snake. Well, there's a snake. Let's go in here and use Free Stock Search Pro. Snake. Okay. Changed my mind. Here's a vehicle. I don't know. I'm trying to grab something else. This is going to be tricky because actually it's mostly black and white. We don't see anything here. So this is a case where still I would jump in. I would try remove background. Oh, and it got me like 80% of the way there. But this last part I could easily clean up. So again, do this a number of ways. We can disable this layer mask because we kind of know the parts we need to select, right? We need to just select the top. So let's just disable this layer mask so we can see everything. And now I can jump in. And remember, I have this set to path. Come down, grab those. Ultimately, I'm grabbing these lovely pixels. This is a perfect case for where you'd use the pen tool. Like, it's obviously an object with hard lines. So that's awesome. All right, we can go up, make this weird shape, right? We could go up to the work path now, and we can make that a selection. Click, and now we have that selection. Let's turn that back on, and what do we do from here? Well, hey, we fill it with black. There we go, and we've removed it. Let's invert that. I'm inverting the selection, and now we'll hit B for brush. Hard round. I'll just flip the color, painting with white. There we go. Done and done. You guys get the idea. Use a Gila monster. Ooh, do we have reptile fans? Do we have fans of reptiles out there? Yes, exactly. Priyanshu, pen tool. Definitely use the pen to totally, trim this up. But you could see it did a pretty good job. The thing is, and again, I like having this layer mask. I paint with white. I can bring some of that back, right? That I want to get right here to bring back that lovely highlight. And I'm just painting with white just in front of that front tire, like so. There we go. Oh, right down here. Grab some more of it as well. All right, so what's up, Steve? Arsalan. Yeah, remove background, refine edge menu, layer mask, pen tool, channels, perfect selection. Arsalan, yeah, you summed it up, man. You got it. Using, again, remove background as a starting point. You could refine that edge using the select and masks menu, painting and different things like that. But I would say this looks pretty good. I was trying to pick something a little bit more difficult because I was like, this would be tough. You ready for this, Norsh? It would be hard to put this bush in front of the car, right? That's going to get tricky, right? So here's the car, and here's this bush. So we could try, again, there's it looks like there's, I don't know, is there red on this bush? But how would you do this, right? You're thinking, okay, if it's based on color, I could use channels, or I can use, right up here, your color range. But let's try channels. Holding down the Option key, clicking. Oh, sorry, Command key, clicking. I hate how it does all the layers, but it actually is selecting the red, okay? Because that's the most dominant color. Add that like so. We'll invert it. And then we could start playing with levels on here like we were doing before. Yeah, so it's going to have a tough time. Can we agree? What's up, Alexander? Good to have you here. So, yeah, that's one way to try to do it. Obviously, it didn't work, right? Let's delete this. And honestly, what I would do is I would actually just paint with a brush that is, has that same texture. So that's what I would do. So here's chunky charcoal, for instance. Right? So let's invert this. Oop, not that. Sorry. Let's add a layer mask. Invert it, and we'll start painting with white. Okay, there it is. There we go. Cool. Yeah, this image needs help too, doesn't it? Big time. Okay. Did you guys have a question? How much... Wait, are you guys talking about sauce? What are you talking about? What is this? All right. Well, you know what? Sauce on anything will make anything taste edible. So, yes, put sauce on anything and it's like, yeah, that's good. Alrighty. since we are doing selections and masks, let's throw a photo filter on this, clip it to our car, right? Go to color, right? We're like tinting it that color, but I would actually draw from, you know, it's a little, it's not bad. Okay. That looks a little better. Yes. Does it need a ton more work? Certainly. Right? We can talk about matching all day long. So we'd have to drop a shadow in there. Yeah, I do get confused every time I look up at chat and you guys are talking about, just put some sauce on it. I'm like, what? A sauce? What? What are you talking about? Put a sauce where? I'm working on a car in a desert. Put sauce on it? That's crazy. You're talking crazy. You know what this needs, though? So at least a shadow. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it for sure. Right? For this, I mean, we're getting more into compositing, but we have this whole scene that really should be reflected in the car, right? So, again, do we have some of this like reflected in the car somehow? I have it currently clipped. We will add a layer mask here. We will invert it. Let's just try this. Let's see what happens. Right, so we might need to kind of show some of that scene right in here. So let's adjust it. Like so. I know you're not seeing anything yet. Yeah, let's disable that layer mask. Again, kind of putting this scene in the car in the reflection, which would be kind of fun. So right down there, clip it, and then start removing some of these colors and things. Chupacabra. Okay, how is everyone? You guys are just talking about exotic, eating, I don't know, some crazy stuff, I feel. Okay, I don't need all of this everywhere. I would do one side, then I'd do the other side. Get rid of that. Want to bend this too, so we'll go to warp. Man, that thing is massive. Just take this. All right, so let's bend it. Command T, right click, warp. And it's gonna bend this over, right? So we want to just kind of like warp. Ooh, undo. Let's unlock this. Sorry, I had that layer mask locked. We will unlock it. So then we can do this warping without changing that layer mask. Like that. Something kind of like that. All right, checking the time. Screen is nice. By the way, did you notice how it looks like this card is, like, it kind of looks like it's standing still. But obviously there's motion on those tires. Okay. No, this is not part of an upcoming NFT. I don't do cars, people. I don't really do cars, but we are making this look better and making it work, so. All right, blur it out a bit. Oh, good call. I love compositing, and I love doing everything you guys are asking. This is perfect. I love all these compositing tricks, because when you have two photos, right? This one's actually, you gotta look at the graininess. You have to look at if it's like slightly blurred out, and you have to start matching all of that content, right? This could still use a little brightness back here that I could work on. But it's not bad for what I'm doing today. We got Jason up next. He's going to be doing something amazing. Sharing your work and optimizing it for social media. For the socials. All right, boom. Okay. All right, everyone. I think we did great. Probably my favorite one out of everything I did today is this first example that we did within the first 5 minutes. And this is more my style for, you know, for my work. But I'm kind of into this. So, and it was the simplest example. So, well, Michelle, you are too kind to me. I just want to put Michelle in my pocket, carry you around because you're just so encouraging. I feel like I could do anything when you're on the stream. So thank you so much. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me and making it a beautiful day. You are what makes this live stream experience wonderful. So thank you, Robert, Clarissa, Afroja, and everyone. I'm going to turn it over to Jason. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys soon. We'll see you online. Thanks.